Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to midday market action. Seeing a little bit of optimism in the major indices. If we could see the Dow Jones up 46 points here. All right, the alert looks like it just hit. So give everyone just a moment to make their way into the room. We got Joey in the background today. Joey's running the scenes back there. So if you can hear us, if you can see us, just put VV in the comment section. All right, let's see, we got Bill, Pennywise in the house, Nancy, Matthew as well. All right, so people are making their way into the room. Happy Monday, everybody. Octo, yes, actually, I got a story on Octo, Ritesh. Couple of the my colleagues on the floor in the support department, they trade here quite a bit. They were talking about Octo this morning. Someone scalped it a little bit. Another individual, I guess, had been in it. But yeah, that stock it's astronomical. We'll take a look at it. You guys will be, you can chase it if you want to. We'll see if there's any opportunities, but there's definitely momentum. Definitely momentum here. Greg says, good afternoon, Pennywise. Palantir and Broadcom positions are doing well today. Nice. Yeah, I see Palantir is just trying to hold the bottom end of that channel. Amir MBOT up over 20% today randomly. Nice. Yeah, I did see that. Google still doing good. Yes. Amir says, how is Glenn doing? Glenn is doing good, Amir. Glenn is doing real good. He's back home. He's doing his physical therapy. All right. So there we go. All right, there we are. Yeah, just look at the market right now. I see a little optimism to the upside. No real big moves in either direction. Not surprised by that. We got a lot of economic data coming out this week. So let's get into the headlines, see what's going to be moving the market this week with economic data. And we've got some earnings. We are getting towards the end of earnings season, so not as heavy as it was, especially like last week. We had, Broadcom was the big one last week. As far as today, not much kicking it off today. Tomorrow, though, will probably be the busiest day when it comes to earnings. We've got Oracle after the bell, Synopsys, Rubrik here. That one's not confirmed. AVAV, GameStop is reporting after the bell. I know GameStop popped up a little bit after they were going to do, pretty much a Bitcoin treasury. I think it was like low 20s, got up to maybe $30. I think it's right back to where it was. Before the news. AVAV earnings is tomorrow. Yes, Pennywise, there it is, AVAV. Let's see here. Wednesday, we've got Chewy before the bell. But you can see for the most part, earnings thinning out here. So we're pretty much getting to the end of the earnings season. Adobe, that's going to be probably the biggest stock, other than maybe Oracle. Those would be the biggest two here. Let's see. Kroger in the list. That's going to be a big one as well. And then Friday, I didn't think there was much of anything. Nah, there's not much for Friday. Let's just see next week. Try to give you a heads up. See what's going next week here. Next week, not much. It looks like that might be it for earnings. Yeah. So it does look like earnings season is coming to an end. Earnings season wasn't bad. KR will be interesting. Yes. Hood. Yeah, I got Hood. I got a story for Hood as well. They're up right now. Hood and APP+10 introduced to the S&P 500. Amir, yep, you just said it right there. We said it at the same time, Amir. We're thinking the same thing. But not good, Hood. I know. I know you're trying to get that comment out. And EME is joining. I didn't notice that. I didn't realize that one. Okay, Alex, yep, also EME. That's why they are going way up. We'll be talking about SMR, small module reactors. I don't have a story about this, but we can definitely talk about some SMRs. But yeah, Hood and App, up 10 and 15% respectively here. All right, so today, not much data, nothing coming out. It's going to move the market, right? Tomorrow, not much either, right? So today, kind of see optimism to the upside here. Probably finish that way. Wouldn't be too crazy. Tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if the markets were flat or pulled back a little bit because the market's going to be getting a little nervous going into Wednesday and Thursday. This is what The market is waiting on this data right here, right? It's all about getting that interest rate cut. Are we going to get it? Are we not going to get it, right? Well, the employment data says, hey, we could use an interest rate cut, right? The only thing to prevent that is going to be the inflation data. Well, Wednesday, we've got PPI data, your core PPI. Year over year, all that stuff's coming out before the bell, 8:30 in the morning. The following day, Thursday, is going to be a CPI data, Consumer Price Index here, right? So the market expect volatility Wednesday and Thursday. Expect volatility. Why didn't anyone tell me about Western Digital shooting the lights out? Wow, we haven't really talked about Western Digital. I don't recall anyone or us really looking at it in a couple weeks. But apparently, Tabula's on the move. Is that what you're saying? Amir, how about gold? Should we buy gold? Amir, I haven't talked about gold. I've done so many gold videos this year. So I'm still an advocate of gold. It just hit a new high. Gold did. Mario big after Japan's prime minister announced his resignation. Interesting. Okay, very interesting. But yeah, this week, as far as economic data, it's going to be inflation data. This is what's going to cause the markets to move. So Wednesday, Thursday, expect volatility in the markets. Now, here's a stock that is already being talked about in the comment section. Dan Ives to become chair of company that will buy Sam Altman-backed WorldCoin for its treasury, right? So Webush Securities, Dan Ives is now leading a crypto treasury strategy focused on WorldCoin, right? So WorldCoin, this is a crypto coin that has huge backing by Sam Altman, the OpenAI. Pretty much, the poster child, Sam Altman and Jensen Huang, those are the poster childs of AI. Well, pretty much, it's a micro strategy, right? So this leads me to 8Co Holdings, a tiny company that currently trades on the NASDAQ under the ticker OCTO. So that's the story behind the stock that's moving up. I'm surprised that OCTO is not mentioned here in this article because that's what's moving up right now. But it's on the Ethereum network. Let's see here. The company made $20 million. Yeah, strategic investment in 8Co. It announced Monday, marking the start of its moonshot strategy to back bold ideas that strengthen Ethereum's ecosystem. So Ethereum, it's all in the Ethereum Bitcoin here. It's all the Ethereum network. All in the Ethereum network here. But I got the stock. It's in the watch list. We're going to take a look at this. It's called OCTO. People have been mentioning it in the comments section already. The stock is up phenomenal. I know some people here in VectorVest on the floor have already been trading it, day trades, scalping it. The stock is up quite a bit. Let's see here. Increasingly companies. So yeah, it's all about this crypto treasury strategies. I've been telling you this stuff for about a year now, right? At least a year now. It's not that my opinion does not matter, right? It just depends if these companies or companies in general are going to use this crypto treasury system, and you're seeing it more and more and more and more and more and more. It's Bitcoin, it's Ethereum, it's Solana, XRP, that's a whole different ordeal. But yeah, so this stock is going crazy about it. Yeah, rocks are 3,500% up. So we're gonna take a look at that chart, right? So if you're a day trader, if you like momentum, this is a stock that you could probably scalp for a couple bucks. Here's another big mover today, EcoStar. This is an interesting story here. SpaceX, right? We've all heard about Rocket Lab, which, my opinion, Rocket Lab investors are just paying a premium right now because they're just waiting to get into SpaceX. And I just my 2 cents. I like Rocket Lab. I like what it could do. It's number 2 in the game because I've been doing research on Rocket Lab. I know there's been talks or wants of doing a video on Rocket Lab. I am going to do a video on it, but what I have found out is great company. They're number 2 in the game. They're the number 2. SpaceX is number 1. So when that IPOs, which right now the rumor is probably 2026. I think that's going to steal some thunder from Rocket Lab. But this was interesting. SpaceX strikes $17 billion deal to buy EchoStar's spectrum for Starlink's direct-to-phone service. So Spectrum, right? Spectrum, it's like a phone service here. It's big here in Charlotte, North Carolina, if you're not familiar with what that is. EchoStar will sell its AWS-4 and H-Block spectrum licenses in exchange for $8.5 billion in cash and $8.5 billion in SpaceX stock. So they're getting a significant portion of SpaceX stock there. Off of the cash, $2 billion will be made as direct cash interest payments on debt held by EchoStar. Interesting. The stock's up big though, but big partnership there with SpaceX, big announcements with SpaceX here. In particular, SpaceX had the new Spectrum will enable optimized 5G protocols in its direct-to-phone service. Once the next line of satellites is operational, the deal also gives customers of EchoStar's Boost mobile service access to Starlink's direct phone service. So Boost Mobile looks like it's going to get direct access to the Starlink satellite service. I know we got T-Mobile. All right, I've got T-Mobile, and I've gotten the offer for the Starlink service. What space company is working with Apple? I don't know. That's a good question. But this is an interesting partnership, and the stock is up quite a bit on it. I mean, anything linked to SpaceX, it's probably going to go up, right? The momentum, the retail traders, they're going to push it up. But yeah, no, this is going to be hot. If I get any more updates on the IPO for SpaceX, I will definitely let you know. But yeah, that's going to be hot. EchoStar up big deal for them, coming to about $17 billion and half of that in stock. So this is a good story here. Broadcom, please don't push this AI rally off the cliff. Broadcom reportedly gains OpenAI as a new qualified XPU customer, spurring a reacceleration in the forward guidance here. 2026 outlook. The market has already quickly lifted its optimism on the deal. The stock has rocketed in the last few weeks, right? I mean, there were some, value opportunities with Broadcom, but the stock's just way overvalued to the VectorVest metrics here. Yet, with custom chips becoming a more critical growth driver for Broadcom, how many more OpenAI level customers can Broadcom depend on? That's good, right? Is this growth sustainable? It's just like the NVIDIA question, right? Of these hyperscalers, right? Not only so many, entities out there can afford this type of hyperscaling, this type of money. Serious questions about whether Broadcom's frothy valuation still have much further room to go must now be contemplated. That's my big concern. I like Broadcom, but after this big after this big move, me personally, I think a lot of that premium's baked in. We'll take a look at the stock here. I don't think it's a bad stock to have, but depending, you just got to see what your goals were. Let's see here. Next up, we got Micron. Been talking about Micron lately. Micron. This is that high bandwidth memory tailwinds outweigh margin noise. I reiterate my strong buy rating on Micron. Again, this is an analyst from Seeking Alpha. As I believe it is the single biggest growth engine. Yes, that was when I did my Micron videos, all about HBM, right? You could see the supply sold out. Look, the supply sold out. That's good. Revenue up 50% quarter over quarter. Shipping includes the MI355X, which is ramping, HBM4 sampling. Valuation supports by strong buy in MU stock. Well, we got all this stuff here. Suggesting undervaluation. Well, in the VectorVest 7 software, it's one of the most undervalued semiconductors right now. It's my personally semiconductor of choice right now. I like it personally, but I expect data center and HBM ramp to lift margins forward, possibly up 40% next year. A lot of good reasons for Micron here. I'm kind of feeling totally. Interesting. Totally. Now, gold stocks have been good. Tabula. Broadcom is taking more and more market share and designing custom chips. Yes, they are. I like Broadcom. I do like Broadcom. They're becoming the domestic powerhouse here. I like them more than I like Intel. I think the focus should be on Broadcom, not Intel for the domestic chips. And then the last story I have here is a good story. It's a fun story. APP+10. I know a lot of people talk about it in the comment section. A lot of you may own it or have traded it before for some momentum. Robinhood as well, been a big stock. Both of these stocks have joined the S&P 500. Whoo, whoo, whoo. Look at this. Some other big contenders have entered. Datadog and DoorDash. Interesting. The changes will go into effect before the morning of the trading, September 22nd, right? So we've got, about 2 weeks for that? It's about 2 weeks for that. Sorry, you see, look at both stocks here, up 11% on app. HOOD holding around 14% here, 15%. Big moves. Let's see here. Yeah, so a lot of that was an extended trading on Friday. So a lot of that was pre-market. So let's see if there's any follow-through in the charts here. Let's go back to the VectorVest software. There we go. All right, looks like the major indices still holding in positive territory here. We still got the VectorVest MTI, the underlying trend, still climbing. See, last week it ended at 1.28. Now it's at 1.31. So that's good. Let's go to the viewers here. Let's start off with the earnings. These are the stocks that have got earnings this week. Don't stocks rise ahead of a S&P 500 inclusion and then sell off afterwards? I don't know about the whole selling off afterwards. It probably just depends on the stock, the situation. But I think going in, being inducted into the S&P 500, you're going to get pressure from like ETFs, right? Because you look at all the ETFs that have the S&P 500 stocks. Now they got to have these shares of these companies, right? AVAV isn't on your list, and they have earnings tomorrow. It's right here, AVAV. Boo, earnings. Yeah, I gotta fix this. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I think it's by resolution on my computer. But yeah, AVAV is right here. Aero Environment. Quite a few stocks out here. Well, we got 8 stocks. These are some of the biggest performing ones. Most of them up today. The only one down actually is going to be Chewy right now. Yep, Pennywise, my bad. It's all good, Penny. It's a Monday, right? It's a Monday. See here. Okay, remind me about Open. We can take a look at Open. I know that's been a very popular stock here. Let's see here. We got Synopsys. What's the value play here? The value was going to be Adobe. Very undervalued right now. Investors are not paying a premium for this stock. Currently trading at $350. We value this stock at $540, so greatly undervalued. Going into earnings, I do see that. I mean, look at growth rate and earnings at 15% here. I do like that. What's the other value play? It's going to be Kroger. Currently trading at 67. We value at 85. I do like that. All the stocks, for the most part here, actually from Kroger up, have favorable safety ratings. This is where you're going to get a little bit more risk here. RTs, GameStop, and Adobe are the ones where the bears are in charge right now. The growth rate earnings are kind of impressive, though. I mean, double digits across the board. The only one with single digits growth rate and earnings is going to be Kroger. So not a bad list of stocks to look at here. So a lot, for the most part, these stocks are trading at a premium, though. There's only 2 value plays here. So let's take a look at the charts. Here is Synopsys. I do like this. Nice lower left, upper right. Let's see here. Might be able to catch a trend line. I'd be careful getting into it right now. just because it's caught between these two moving averages. I mean, wait for the dust to settle, but if you get a gap down, you could potentially try to grab it at the trend line here. See if there's a pivot, see if there's any kind of confirmation there. But as far as the forecasted data, I mean, growth rate earnings 16% is declining, but look at the sales growth rate. Could be a turnaround story in the picture here. If we take a look at the date line, was negative 4% and now coming in at 10%. Nice. And that earnings per share was flat, but starting to rise now. It was what, 14.60? Now it's 15.20, 15.24. I like that. But yeah, I'm not going to buy it right before earnings. Wait, see what happens. If we get a good move and above that 20-day EMA, hey, it might not be a bad move. If we get a gap down, see what happens around this trend line here. Could be a nice pivot off of it, right? As far as Adobe, I like it as a value play, but I just don't like the chart. I mean, just at first glance, what I'm seeing is value on the decline, price action on the decline, growth rate earnings flat, sales growth rate pretty much flat as well, 11%. The only thing rising here is earnings per share. RT still below 1. I mean, I'm getting rejections at the 20, rejections at the 40 here. We got to at least get above the 40, maybe even get above this prior swing high here, really get, optimistic on Adobe as, kind of a value play here. But, earnings is going to give us a sense. But I will say, I mean, just looking at it from a fundamental aspect here, it does look like you are getting a good value on it. And the forecasted data, both in double digits. So not the worst bottom fishing play here, or buying the dip. Here's Oracle. Retested that level support here, right at that level, the top level here. Price action back above the 20-day EMA. Look at that momentum picking up. Fresh buy rating too on Oracle going into earnings. Growth rate in earnings 14%. Sales growth rate 11% here. Rising earnings per share. I do like it. RT gave us a little bit of warning here. Looks like price actually kept right at this level. Bulls coming in. RT coming back into favorable territory at 1.1. Not a bad stock to keep on your radar. I like this position here. It's going to be Oracle here. We got AVAV. AVAV a little early. That momentum, still a lot of momentum to the downside here. Kind of caught in between my zone. Between what is 236 and about 223 here. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of rejection today at the upper end of that zone. See a little wick here. A little too early for me. I'm going to be bearish on it. But as far as earnings, I mean, earnings, that will be the thing to save this stock here. That would be the thing to save it. Yeah, we could get a gap up here. If the earnings call can get investors enthused. I mean, it's aerospace and defense right now. It's not going to be that hard to get them enthused with, the market situation we're in right now. But I do like, if we get a gap up, I mean, the target could be well over 250 here just based off this line if we get that momentum. But if we get a gap down and break below 223, just get defensive because we got a gap to fill here. We could go well, to $200 or below $200 just to fill that gap. The stock, it's overvalued. That's my one caveat here, right? It's the only thing I could see bad other than, just being in a, trending lower. Forecasted data does look good. That sales growth rate turnaround, earnings per share starting to tick back up again. I could see it gapping up, but I just don't like the value here. Because again, if a stock's that overvalued, the company really has to bring, some phenomenal news or some phenomenal, catalyst to the table to, really get investors enthused. So yeah, right now, just because it's between these two lines, I'm going to be neutral on it. I'm not going to give a good rating. But if it does break above this, I mean, my target's going to be up here. Maybe let it run a little bit. Otherwise, if it breaks below this, please get defensive. We do have a gap here to fill. I think AVAV will have good earnings. Yeah, I like the forecasted data. And again, it's in a hot space, aerospace and defense. So it could be easy to get investors enthused, But yeah, it's at a pretty pivotal moment right now. I don't think what's going to happen, I don't think price action is going to be in between those two lines, though, come tomorrow. I think it's going to break between, outside of these two lines, if I had to guess. Here is Kroger. Look at Kroger. I mean, that's a good little rollover here. Momentum to the downside. You're getting some value there, but, I mean, investors just aren't enthused about it, so I can't get too enthused. I can see why. Growth rate earnings, 8%. Sales growth rate's flat. And you can see RT just kind of wobbling back and forth here. Not a really good one. You can look at the dividend, see if there's any kind of dividend strategy there. But otherwise, probably don't want to waste too much time looking at Kroger. Here we've got Chewy. Chewy doing a whole lot of nothing over the last 6 months. I mean, the stock is just overvalued. It had a big run, so it's probably just, there it is. There's that big run. So it's just kind of, taking a breather right now to the side. Fresh buy rating. Nice pivot off of this 20-day EMA. 20 days now. Diverging a little away from that 40-day. Showing a little momentum picking up here. RT actually back in positive territory. Chewy may not be a bad momentum play coming in the picture. Maybe use Star Search or a 3 and 8 EMA. As far as the stock, though, forecasted data, not too bad. Earnings per share rising, but yeah, it's just overvalued right now, so I would treat it like a momentum play. Stick to the technicals on Chewy. Here's GameStop. Now, GameStop has done a whole lot of nothing lately. Look at GameStop here. Interesting. GameStop with price action this stagnant or this range bound, the options may finally actually not be that crazy priced for GameStop. They could still be. It's been a long time since I looked at options on GameStop, but what I like is this much range boundness. I mean, you can see the moving average started to converge here. Oh, it's the king of the meme stocks, Pennywise. We know that. It's the king of the meme stocks. But maybe not if it breaks above this, but I mean, I'd have to look at the call options and see. Just, it's a lottery ticket, right? It's a lottery ticket. Maybe buy like the 28 or 29 out of the money because we got a gap to fill here. But I know last time it jumped up. I think it was all this momentum here is from their Bitcoin treasury announcement, essentially. So nothing real good there. Look at the valuation, though. The value is climbing up to $15. Interesting on GameStop. Let's see here. Here's Rubrik Inc. Nice jump up today. 2 big candlesticks in a row. Overvalued, but look at the forecasted data. 16%. Sales growth rate, 49%. Earnings per share, it's negative, but it's heading towards positive territory here. Actually, I don't mind this stock. Let's just use a freehand line. I'm just curious here. Yep, there it is. That's the break. That's not bad. That's not a bad trade setup. Not a bad one at all. Again, it's got earnings this week, so maybe wait till after the earnings. But that is breaking above that trend line. All right, next up, let's go to the news. The news. RBRK is an interesting cybersecurity stock. Trade by instinct. Don't try overthink. Yeah, don't overthink it, right? You know me. I try to keep it very simple here. All right, so these are the news here. We have Broadcom. That was the valuation. And you can see right here, the price value. I mean, it's one of the most, well, we got some other overvalued ones here, these crypto ones. But you can see it's way overvalued, right? Robinhood, way overvalued as well. APP+10, way overvalued. Look at Micron, way undervalued at 1.6. That's going to be the value play. I like Micron right now. I'm not saying I don't like Broadcom. You can see the momentum still continuing and play it by all means. But right now, Broadcom, I would treat like a momentum play. Don't lose all that momentum and all that money that's being made. All these stocks are up today, but look at this one. This is the new. Look at 5,000%. What is the stock at now? $77? What? 5,000. Oh, Pennywise says MU also pays a dividend. I'll post that one. That's a good one there. Jake says I'm killing it on B calls. What do you mean by B calls? B. What do you mean by B calls, Jake? But yeah, Micron, I like that from a value play here. And you can see it's up today. It had like 2 big days. I think it was last week at some point. So, I mean, it jumped up. It was like around closer to $100. And now it's what, 131. Nvidia still in the 170s here. Ethereum, just because this Octo here, this, was it WorldCoin? WorldCoin is on the Ethereum network. As we saw, there, was it like 20 million or some money to enhance their Ethereum network here. EcoStar, big news there with Tesla, 14% to the upside right now. BMNR, this was just part of that article with Octo here, essentially the same kind of thing. Up 5% again today. I mean, this crypto treasury stuff, I mean, that's all the rage right now, all the rage. And I have said it before, and that is it's a pretty bold statement, but I did say it before. But do not be surprised if a crypto derivative bubble. I know we talked. I haven't talked about this probably about 6 months now. It's towards the beginning of the year when Bitcoin was hitting 100,000. We're talking about it for the first time. My problem is not that the crypto is going to have a bubble, is that the crypto derivatives are going to have a bubble. All these little companies, like this company here up 5,000%. Why? Because they're having WorldCoin treasury now. And it's just my theory is that this derivative bubble that I have a feeling that'll happen at some point, that'll create the last golden opportunities to really get into some of the bigger cryptos. MSTR is a big bubble, methinks. Well, yeah, they're leveraging all of these cryptos, and it's working right now with Ethereum going up and Bitcoin going up. Crypto derivative bubble makes sense, Bill. Yeah, so, because again, Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin to essentially take the element of human greed out of the financial system and out of the currency system, right? Well, what does human greed do? Well, he just add derivatives and put the greed right back into it. It is what it is, right? But yeah, just, I'm not saying it's going to happen now or in the near future, but I do have a prediction that you will probably see that on the news at some point in the future. The crypto derivative bubble. But yeah, that's story for another day. But yeah, these stocks are all moving up for the most part here, except Micron. But again, I still think it's a great value play here. So let's take a look at the charts, see where the opportunities are, and then we'll get into your stocks. Broadcom. So this was the big jump up from the earnings call. If I use the earnings button here, you can see earnings. Boom. Big jump up from earnings. Now, since then, we gave it a lot away, no follow through, and now we're trading within the big body candlestick, right? So I'm not going to make any decisions. I'm not going to get too crazy until we at least break out of this candlestick, right? You got to ask if you're in it, if you're thinking about buying it, things of that nature. I will say the value's ticking up, but we only value it at $200, right? I mean, you look at Nvidia, I think it's undervalued now. I think if you look at AMD, I think it's undervalued now. So that's what I was saying. A lot of that, in my opinion, a lot of the premium has been baked. Here's my level of resistance here. We broke it, came back, retested it, and then just had a nice run up. So again, just, do I think Broadcom could go higher? Yes, but I think a breather is probably going to be happening. I like Broadcom, but what about that big open gap? Yeah, I'm not going to be a buyer of Broadcom right now. This was the play here that I talked about before, breaking this line, retest, boom, off to the races. And, at some point you got to, take your profits off the table and, ask yourself if you're an investor or a trader and consider all your taxes and all that good stuff. But, yeah, I'm not going to make any decisions on Broadcom or act, really until it breaks out either to the upside or the downside of this candle here, the body of that candle. But look at it, growth rate 26%, sales growth rate 22%, rising. I mean, it's a phenomenal stock, right? And you know, it's all about the custom chips they make. I mean, this stock could easily kick out Tesla and be a Mag 7 company. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's the little, in my opinion, it is a Mag 7. We'll call it the Mag 8, you know. But I've said that before. Either you could kick out Tesla and add Broadcom, or you could add Bitcoin. That would be my Mag. But yeah, Broadcom there. Here's HOOD. Look at the HOOD. Big gap up today. Full body candlestick. Trading at session highs. It's approaching that prior high as well. If we get a breakout here, probably going to see some more momentum coming out of HOOD. Yeah, you can see it right there. Now, I'm not going to jump into HOOD right now, right at this level of resistance. Let's see if we can just break the high, you know. Give up that $1 or $2, right? Because I'd hate for you to jump into it and we end the day with a big upper wick or something. Even though I doubt that's going to happen, just because it's, you know, it just got added to the S&P 500. So you're probably going to see, you know, if I had to guess, probably a breakout here, maybe a pullback, retest, and then off to the races. But a lot of that's also going to deal with the inflation data comes out this week. Ryan, what is the market cap on Broadcom? It's depending on the day, but I want to say it's around $1.6 trillion. TSM is also a $1 trillion company, right? If it was up to me, I would take out take out Tesla. Because it's not even a $1 trillion company anymore. That's kind of one of the prerequisites for the Mag 7 companies, the $1 trillion companies. I would add Broadcom and add TSM. Those are the only other $1 trillion companies. TSM is the other one. Yeah, Pennywise. Yeah, TSM. That's the other one. For me, it'd be the Mag 9. You know, I would drop Tesla, and I would add Bitcoin, Broadcom, and TSM. I would call it what's a catchy name for 9? Let's make our 9. Let's do it right now. What's the 9? But yeah, Broadcom, Broadcom, Bitcoin, TSM, they should be in there. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Bitcoin being in there, but I mean, Bitcoin's trillions of dollars too. What is it? Around $3 trillion right now. You'd have to look at it, but it deserves to be on the list at this point. But yeah, as far as HOOD though, I ain't not gonna be a buyer until it breaks above this, right? You know, I want to see a little confirmation. I'm not going to buy right at the resistance. I see that wick just grew a little bit. So just be careful there with HOOD. But yeah, with it just being added to the S&P 500, I have a feeling it's going to break above it. Bill says Ryan Kramer. No. Tesla good for folks who like roller coasters. Yeah, right. I don't really want the roller coaster. But I mean, Tesla is just, it's not a car company. It's not valued like a car company. It's valued like the robots are being made. It's valued like the self-driving technology is here, and it's not. It is not. TSM is great for dividend, tech, and emerging market exposure. Yeah, TSM, I've talked about a lot. I've put that, coined it as far as what the semiconductor mafia. I don't know if you've seen those videos. You can watch them. But what they've done with ASML, AMD, and NVIDIA, it's just been a game changer. They've changed the world. Here's another one, APP+10. This is another one that moved it. But look at this. Upper wick here. Gap up. Retracing from those session highs. The stock just overvalued. The value is rising. I like it for that metrics. And look at this, kind of a little breakout here, nice retest. What's this line coming from? I have a little line back here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if price actually came down a retest of this 524 at some point. So don't be too alarmed, but I wouldn't want to get back into this too much. Feels like this is a great time to have international exposure. Yeah, I'm not going to say that would be a bad thing. Elon's a genius with no people skills, right? Well, I feel like a lot of very geniusy or very smart tech people, aren't the best with people, right? Aren't the best with people. A lot of people in development don't like to do customer service, right? So here is Micron, and this is more so the reason why I want to talk about it, just the trade setup. I mean, everything looks good here. New high, nice pivot off this level here, coming in at 131. These are the two big days here. It's breaking out, and then look at the value rising, price action rising here. I see a well overdue breakout on Micron. I like this stock here. I definitely would say put Micron on your radar. Growth rate earnings 38%, 37% here. Rising earnings per share. So yeah, whether you're just an investor looking for a semiconductor, this is a good pick. Or if you're a momentum trader, you could see the momentum here picking up with confirmation now, taking in a new high. So just another stock to have here. NVIDIA, be careful of NVIDIA here. Again, we broke out of this ascending channel where we find a low. Nobody knows, but if I had to guess, maybe right in here. That's before. That could be a good one, actually. But yeah, if we break this, I mean, I got 152 on here. But yeah, not much momentum with NVIDIA at this time. Here's Ethereum. Again, Ethereum hugging that 20-day EMA. It's been a pretty good accumulation point in the past here. But again, I would not be surprised if Ethereum broke it and came down and wanted to retest this, or came down to this 40-day for a breather, right? We've had such a huge run on Ethereum. It just went from $15 to 40, 45. So just be careful on this. Don't be afraid to take some profits off the table if it takes a breather here. Here's EcoStar. We had the gap up. A lot of momentum to the upside here. Upper wick, but now we're dropping down $77 here. The valuation is, the stock was fairly valued, but after this gap up in this news, just investors, they're paying a premium right now. So don't get caught in the hype. You can use Star Search. You can use something like a 3 and 8. But a lot of momentum here with this position. Earnings per share is negative right now. Forecasted data negative in both categories. So treat it as such. But a lot of momentum with this position. Here's Octo. I mean, this stock is wild. I remember this morning when I was on the floor, they were talking about it was $20. Because someone on the floor just scalped it for a couple bucks. This thing, I mean, look at it. The one day. Whew. I want to look at it before it jumped. That was it. So it was undervalued. I mean, we valued this stock at $1.88. It was $1.46. So there was some value there. But holy moly. I'm not getting sucked into the Octo FOMO. Yeah, I wouldn't get sucked into that Octo FOMO either. But yeah, be careful of this one. I mean, the stock's $76 here. Whew. Holy moly, that's insane. Here's another one, BMNR. This is the Ethereum treasury here. Not as crazy as the other one, but it's kind of flat. You can see the momentum was here, and then the breakout was to the downside, just kind of flat now. Not a bad entry point. You can see it's overvalued here, so just be careful of this one. But that's it. That's crazy there. 5,000%. Whew. You guys obsessing about gold. You forgot about silver. Look at PAAS, for example. I like silver. All right, here's the 6-month chart here. Just broke out. Nice bottom wick here. I like this bottom wick. That's a perfect retest of this breakout here. So now there's not a big gap. That is a perfect retest of that. That is bullish by all means. But yeah, silver, gold, digital assets, the big ones like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, I like. For crypto, I'm looking at IBIT, BTCI, Sols. Yeah, Solana, I do like Sols, ETHA. Wait, are we done NG picks already? We've not done picks already, but we are about to. All right, hit that like button. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. Hit that like button, and then, was it every 10 likes, you get a stock pick. But that was a good one here. Let's take a look at some other ones. I'll take a look at SOGP. This one's dropping. It's at 21.26. Nice. What was the intraday? 2062. Okay. AREC just kind of chilling there. Hey, that's not a bad. That's a good accumulation. So if you're looking at AREC, I'll be honest, I really like this setup here right on this 20-day. Where's the value at now? Oh, it's still dropped. Ooh, that's not good. See if UAMY is looking good here. UAMY also at its 20-day. And look at the value here. It dropped, but it went right back up. The valuation right now at 359. Very nice. Very nice. All right, gave you some time. We got 48 likes. That means we got 5 stock picks. First 5 stock picks coming across the comment section. Those are going to be the 5 in the list. MARUY. First up, MSFT, UEC, ALAB, SOUN. Just a reminder, next week, big week, Las Vegas 2-day investment seminar. Now, if you haven't checked it out, just go to VectorVest.com/Vegas. All the details are there. You can either go in person or you can stream it from YouTube. So you can watch it online if you cannot be there. Definitely check it out. Definitely attend. A lot of heavy hitters there, right? So if you're trying to learn options, we got Ron Wheeler there. If you're trying to learn a little bit more about swing trading, we've got Jerry D'Ambrosio. Is on a tongue twister there, right? Oh, man. All right, we got 5 stocks. Tabula says, I missed that cut. I was the 6th stock. Oh, my. Sorry, Tabula. Sorry. ALAB is looking great today. Yes. Let's see here. Yeah, Crazy Jerry D. Oh, yes, SMR. I did say I would look at SMR. All right, so that's it. Those are the 6. Let's take a look here. Let's see where the value is. None of these stocks have value. These are all overvalued stocks here. Very speculative. SoundHound being the most overvalued one. You see price action $14. We only value the stock $1. $1. Amir, Glenn is not going to Vegas. Nope. He is not going to Vegas. Not going to Vegas. All right. RVs. Where's my long-term positions? We got Stera, ALAB. That's the highest one. Followed by Microsoft at 1.22. So these are going to be your long-term potentials. As far as safety, where can I find some safe? Microsoft, no surprise, right? What's the most riskiest one here? SoundHound, so it's the most overvalued and it's the riskiest one, right? I know it can have a lot of momentum and trading, ideas there, but don't fall in love with SoundHound. Don't fall in love with it. And look at the growth rate earnings, only 5% too. Now, you could trade it all day. There's a lot of momentum there to make some money, but I wouldn't just, blindly fall in love with it. All the stocks are up today. The biggest one is Stera Labs, ALAB. Up, look at that, 13%. Whew. Currently trading at $216. We only buy this stock $41, but it's got buy recommendations and it's got the highest growth rate in earnings as well. So let's take a look here. Let's graph these out. Look at that. Oh yeah, you can see I was looking at it, broke out of the wedge. Off to the races. Woo, look at that. There's that pattern I was looking at. Nice pivot off that 20-day EMA. Looks like that breakout came to fruition. We were just looking at that last week. I like ALAB. Look at that. Growth rate 51%. Sales growth rate 150. The premium's baked in right now, so I'm not going to come and say this is a value play, but the momentum is there. The momentum is there. You can put on Star Search or something. Actually, let's take a look at Star Search real quick. We are right at that upper Bollinger Band. Just be careful because price actually likes to pull back a little bit in the short term. I'm not saying that, this run is over, but could be a little overextended, at least for the day. Here's UEC. Let's go back here. Look at that, continuing that momentum to the upside. This is a uranium play here. Growth rate, earnings 24, sales growth rate maxed out, earnings per share. It did go negative, But that momentum is to the upside. Keep playing it. Strong buy rating, full-bodied candlestick right now. Trading at session highs as well. Nice stock. Uranium, hot space. I like uranium. Microsoft here. Microsoft rolling over, dropped below the 20, broke the 40, retested it, rejection. Nope, got to get bearish on Microsoft. It's had a nice run, but look, the valuation, just overvalued. The valuation's got to get up a little bit more for me to like Microsoft right now. The trend is not in the favor of the bulls. Here is Mari, M-A-R-U-Y. Look at this, price action on the rise. But what I like about this, even with the momentum from the stock, look at the valuation here. The value, there was one point where you're getting a fair point on it, but look, price action on the rise, value on the rise. So even if the stock is overvalued, this is what I want to see. Value trying to keep up. You see valuation has climbed all the way from $140 now to just over $200, actually $203 right now. But not only that, look at growth rate and earnings, the sales growth rate, forecasted EPS, all three of these metrics is also climbing over the last 6 months here. Growth rate and earnings, 4%. Sales growth rate, 14% here. I like it. See, Pennywise says Mari's jump today is likely due to Japan's prime minister resigning. This is one of the Japanese trading houses Buffett owns. Oh, okay. Interesting. This is one that Buffett owns. Well, why fight the Oracle himself? He's doing it. He did a good job. It's a good pick here. Nice full body candlestick today. 6-month high. I like it. Here is SoundHound AI. Price action, lower left, upper right. I like this momentum picking up here. Now, as long as price action could stay above here, I think we're good for the bulls. It's around 1343. Now, if price action were to drop below that, I would get a little bit more defensive here, but I like this diversion here, moving away from that 20-day EMA. Also, the 20 moving away from the 40. As far as the fundamentals here, the stock's overvalued, forecasted data, not bad. Sales growth rate, 217. That's exciting. Earnings per share is negative. This company's not making money. You can see it's a hype stock here, but it's broke this key level of resistance. So we need this now as a nice, strong level of support. The prior swing high came around $17, right? So you got a couple bucks to the upside before you see some resistance coming into play. So I do like the setup coming out. Next up, we got SMR. This is the nuclear scale power. Again, overvalued stock here. A lot of momentum. The stock was less than $10. Now it's at $34. So a lot of momentum here. What about the fuel and metal to manufacture this product? Interesting. Yep, there will be more to come in AVAV's earnings call tomorrow. Nice. Yeah, no, AVAV, I like what I hear about AVAV, the stock. Just wait for it to break out of that channel it's currently in to really make any kind of decisions. But here, this looks like rejection from the 20 and 40 here. Not a good sign after the break. We do have sell ratings on this position right now. If it breaks much below this 32 level, I would get defensive. The stock forecasted data, it's phenomenal. 21%, 73%, or 733% here. Rising earnings per share. It's not making money, but it's heading in the right direction. Forecasted data rose over the last 6 months. It's just the valuation concern. The premium is banked in, right? We all know that, SMR, nuclear power, small modular reactors, a lot of AI hype, right? Investors are paying a premium for this position. And you see the stock just taking a breather right now. But if that breather goes much below, $32, I would get defensive on SMR. Just be careful because this is, pretty big rejection here. You can see the candlestick playing to the downside as we speak. All right. 1254. Let's see where the major indices are here. Yeah, still positive territory. Looks like the VectorVest composite struggling here to stay in positive territory. Maybe the small caps giving some trouble here. Is it a Texas energy play? Yeah, I believe they do have projects in Texas for the AI data centers. There was a firm talking about recycling the 90/95% of uranium fuel wasted in nuclear reactors the other day. Interesting. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of development and a lot of breakthroughs in energy because of AI demand, right? They're going to use this AI technology, what we can learn from AI to enhance the energy needed for more AI, right? It's going to be a revolving door. But yeah, it's been a big day in the market. I mean, that's crazy that one stock up 5,000% today. If you're in that, hey, be careful and don't be afraid to take some profits off the table. That is for sure. Let's see here. So, is the only company given authorization to build a new nuclear plant. Interesting. All right, everybody. Well, that's a Monday. That's a wrap. Again, just don't be surprised. We got inflation data coming out Wednesday and Thursday. So expect volatility then, right? And top of that, next week, Las Vegas 2-day event. Check it out. Just go to VectorVest.com/Vegas for the registration link. If you can't make it there in person, you can check it out. It will be streaming live on YouTube. Everyone have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and good luck trading to you. Take care.